Hey friends, today I'm going to be running you through the tool Three Circles as a tool to share the gospel. Now, a couple weeks ago, I actually made a video kind of unpacking this tool, explaining kind of what everything represents and what it should all capture. But that was a longer video. That was at roughly 12 minutes, and you can find it right here if you want to see more of the entirety of all the details in this gospel tool. But today's video, I'm just going to be running you through the tool itself. It's going to be a short video just so you can see what it would look like in a real conversation, what it would look like to share it with somebody, so that once you start practicing it, you can just kind of compare it to the shorter video of what it should capture and what it actually looks like in real time. So having said that, let's just jump in with this short video on how to use this tool to share the gospel. Three circles. Let's do it.
When we look around at the world we live in, we see that it is broken, right? There's pain, there's suffering, there's hatred, sickness, wars, death. We see that our world is broken. It hurts. But even as we see that we live in a broken world, we can also see aspects of goodness in our world, right? We can see someone showing kindness to someone else, or we can see a beautiful sunrise. There's still elements of goodness in our world. It reminds us of a world that we want to live in, a world that we feel like we're made for. And that's exactly the world that God created us to live in. He created us to live in a perfect world, living with Him, glorifying Him, and enjoying Him forever. But the first human beings wanted to try doing life their own way. We rebelled against the King of creation. And so now the world exists in a way that God didn't create it to exist. It exists apart from His goodness. And that's the world we live in today. So all the pain, all the brokenness is because we ran away from God's good design. We ran away from doing life with God. And that leaves us in rebellion against the King of all creation. We're treasonous against the ruler of the universe. Now, we don't like living in this world, so we try to get out of it with our best attempts. Maybe we try to get out of it with popularity, or maybe we try to get out of it with fame or riches, or maybe we try to get out of it with success, or drugs, or drinking, or religion. But none of these work, do they? None of it gets us out of this world to live in the world we want to live in. It just doesn't work. So we can't get ourselves out of this world and get ourselves to the world we want to live in. The good news is God did something that we couldn't. See, God could do something about it, and He did. So what did He do? God took on the form of a man, Jesus of Nazareth, and He came to us. He came to us. He lived a perfect life. And then, because He's perfect, because He's God, He died for us, the death of a criminal that we deserved, paying the price for our rebellion, our treason against Him as ruler of creation. So He paid the price for us. And you know what? Every payment gets a receipt. To prove that His payment had cleared, He rose from the grave 3 days later, proving that He really was God and that He paid the price for our sin. So now, if we accept who He is, if we believe that Jesus really is God, that He lived a perfect life, He died for our sin, our rebellion, and that He rose again, and then if we make Him King of our lives, if we give Him the steering wheel of our life and follow Him as our King, as the King of creation, then He promises to work in our lives, to be a part of our lives, and to make us what He intended us to be. And that's where salvation happens. We get to do life with God once again as He intended it to be. And that's where He starts to transform our lives. And one day He will take us back to the world that He intended us to live in, a perfect world with beauty and goodness. No more sin, no more pain, no more suffering or hatred or wars, but perfect life in paradise, where we will live with God and He will live with us. So to sum it up, we see that God created us to live in a perfect world, but we wanted to do life our own way. So we ran away from him. And that's what's left us in this broken world. Now, we can't deliver ourselves from this broken world, despite our best attempts. But God did something that we couldn't. He came to us. He lived a perfect life. He died on a cross for our sins, and he rose again. So now, if we commit to him, if we believe what he did, and we make him king of our lives, he will become a part of our lives. He will begin to transform us into what he designed us to be. And one day, he will take us into a perfect world that he will reinstate. It all starts with relationship with the king. It's because we have a relationship with the king now that we can trust and be confident that he will take us to his kingdom. Now, where do you see yourself on this illustration? Which world do you live in? Do you live in a perfect world, or do you live in a world with brokenness? Yeah, we all live in this world, right? Now, which world do you want to live in? Are you content here, or are you longing for something more that we get a small taste of? Have you tried getting out of this world into a better world by your best attempts, whatever they may be? How's that been working for you? Now, have you heard of Jesus, who we were talking about? See, he came because we couldn't do it on our own. He did all this, that if we make him king of our lives, then he will take us into his kingdom, which is perfect. He invites us into perfect relationship with himself. Is that something you'd be interested in? Is that something you want to know more about? Would you like to talk more about that? All right, let's meet for coffee next week, and we can talk more about what it means to follow Jesus, what that actually looks like in life, and what that looks like going forward.
So guys, that was it. That was the tool, three circles. Just a reminder of just what it captures. First, students to be talking about the world that we experience. It's a world with pain and sickness and so on and so on. Basically, just unpacking that, it's not all beautiful and lovely. Like, we live in a broken world. Then you're going to unpack how, but there are aspects of goodness we still see, reminding us of a perfect world that we all wish we lived in. And then at that point, you're going to start just laying out the gospel that that's the world God created, but because of our rebellion, now we're no longer living in the world God desired according to his design. Now we live in a broken world. Then you're just going to highlight the point that even despite our best attempts, we can't make this world into that perfect world, that ultimately only God can step forward and do something about it. And that's where Jesus comes in, right? Comes, lives a perfect life, he dies, and then he rises from the dead, paying the price for our rebellion and inviting us into new life with him as we make him king of our lives. Then that's when we are forgiven, we're brought back to relationship with God, and that's where sanctification happens, where he starts changing our lives and where eventually we will live in that perfect world once again. So in short, it's highlighting that we live in a broken world. It wasn't always broken, it was once beautiful. Because of what Jesus did, we can one day live in a beautiful world again with him. So guys, that is the three circles tool. So you can see, maybe you can get a sticker. I'll leave a link below to a website where you can actually buy these stickers. You want to put on like a water bottle or your phone. So you can just have it as a conversation starter and then run through it. Otherwise, you can just draw it out like I did in this video. Proves you don't need to be a great artist to use this tool. I'm by no means a great artist. But either way, it's a very fun tool. Lots of friends of mine love it. It's their favorite tool to share the gospel. So I hope you enjoy this video. Definitely go out there and start practicing it before you actually share it. And then get out there, start sharing it. But let me know what you think about this tool. What do you like about it? What's your experience with it? Have you tried sharing it? And what other tools do you use to share the gospel? Let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see more tools on how to share the gospel, then check out this link right here. It's going to be a playlist of more on sharing the gospel. Having said that, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.